Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Lifetime Patients webinar. I'm Dr. Tabor Smith. I want to welcome everybody on. We've got a good amount of people on, and you know how I can tell is if you scroll down this page that you're watching from live, you'll actually see that there is a chat roll. Well, there's a big orange button that says next step. Check that out if you'd like. This week we've been talking about the spinal hygiene movement members program, and you'll learn a lot more about it on that big orange button there, and I'll explain more about that here in just a second. Below that, though, you're going to find the chat roll, and I'm doing a few things right now. I'm trying to go live on Facebook as well. I'm not sure how to share a screen on Facebook though. And I am going to share my screen with you guys here in just 1 second. So if you will, do me a favor. Hey, Cindy, that's just do like Cindy did there in the chat roll. And please let me know your name and where you're listening in from, because I know on our spinal hygiene movement, we've touched practitioners, chiropractors, and other practitioners alike. They've joined the movement from across the world, and I feel like we are doing great things right now to advance this concept of lifetime spinal wellness. And we have a responsibility, especially if you're a chiropractor like myself, we have a responsibility to share with people this importance of taking care of your spine and nervous system. You know, as chiropractors, we get into neurology, we get into brain-based treatments, we get into corrective care, and we forget that we have to actually teach the public that there's something they need to do on a daily basis to take care of their spine, that there needs to be an awareness of lifetime spinal care, lifetime spinal health, and we call that spinal hygiene. You know, we're going to talk here in just a second about dentistry, but if you look at dentistry, you know, they don't just teach about the cavity. They don't just teach you to go into the dentist and get your teeth cleaned, or go into the dentist and get a cavity corrected, or get braces. They teach that and they do that, but they also share the powerful effects of doing dental hygiene properly on a daily basis. We share that with our kids. We share that with everyone in the world. And because dentists have shared that with everyone in the world, it has made a huge impact on dental health. Not only that, but it has helped dentistry rise to new levels like never seen before. So in just a second, in fact, right now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Let me see here, and I have something really special for all of you who are on right now and who stay until the end. I've got a special gift for you. I think you're going to love it. Sharing my screen right now, guys. Let's see here, desktop. There we go. And sorry, my desktop is a mess. I've been crazy busy here lately, and so I know you're like, how do you find anything in that? I clean it out once a week, guys. I clean it out once a week. So, all right. So you should be seeing my screen here, and this PowerPoint slide that says the Lifetime Patients webinar. And again, I am Dr. Tabor Smith. Now, I apologize if you're watching from Facebook. I don't know how to share my screen with you, so you're going to have to listen in if you want to watch, and I will write the website on there for you guys. There we go. All right, so let me show you what we're going to start with. We're going to begin with the end in mind. Now, when I learned this one simple concept and applied it towards patient retention, I started building wellness patients like never before. And I want to share this with you. This is my initial care plan. I completely redid it. I hired a designer to help me to explain this to patients. But if patients need corrective care, if they need to start a initial care plan in my office, this is the care plan that they're presented with. And I'll explain all of this to you. And in fact, if you like this, I want you to know I actually will give you this initial care plan in an editable copy, not edible, right? Editable. I have the Word doc for this, and you can go in and you can update it and change it and put your own wellness, put your own prices, put your own whatever's congruent with you, your own numbers of adjustments, and you can tweak it and change it to match what you recommend for each patient that comes in. So if you stay to the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you where you can get this this initial care plan, and where you can actually get the editable version of this. So let me kind of go through and explain what this is. And I'm going to back out of this full screen so I can use my cursor. You should be able to see my cursor now. What you'll see here is, by the way, on this initial care plan, this big title right here, begin, the end in mind, does not, it's not on the care plan. It actually might go well with that, though. I'm telling you, if you put a this care plan and gave it to a patient and said begin with the end in mind, I mean, that's exactly what we need to tell our patients to do. But this blue box right here, after their initial corrective care plan. So basically this green lifestyle building is a 24 visit corrective care plan in my office. This blue box did not used to be on any of my care plans. This is lifestyle living. This is lifetime spinal wellness. And I explain this to my patients in the doctor's report. I want to start with telling you a story of why I began using this initial care plan. And really it started at a weight loss conference. And guys, I don't do weight loss personally in my office. I have a good friend who owns a weight loss clinic, and she comes in my office and does workshops and helps my patients. And so she invited me to go to a conference with her, and it was a big weight loss conference. Probably if I mentioned the brand or the name, you would recognize it. And so by the way, if you're watching in from Facebook, go to, let's see, go to spinalhygienedoctor.com/webinar-page, and you'll be able to watch live with us. Okay, so so I went to this weight loss conference, and here's what they said. The guy's sitting up there, there's hundreds and hundreds of practitioners in there learning about weight loss. And he said this, he said, do not accept a patient if they don't agree to maintenance or wellness care after their initial weight loss plan. And so it hit me. I was like, what? And he explained it. He said, look, how many of you have had a patient start their weight loss program? They were there for 6 months or a year, whatever. They lost 100 pounds, and then they denied your wellness program, or they didn't stay for maintenance. They left. And then what happened? They gained the 100 pounds back. And he said, let me ask you, if you have patients that come through your process, they lose 100 pounds, they quit, and they gain 100 pounds back, were you successful? And all of the practitioners, medical doctors, chiropractors, anything and everyone in that room said, no, you are not successful if you help that patient lose 100 pounds and then they just gain it back. And worse than that, not only are you not successful, that patient is going to go out there and say, yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. I lost the weight, but then I gained it all back. And we all know that, that happens. And then I noticed in my chiropractic office, that was happening all the time. In fact, I was set up, the way I designed my plans were set up for that. They were set up for this person to get through it, maybe get a little bit of correction, maybe feel better and do all well. And then, yeah, I might mention you should go into this plan, but they didn't know that. They didn't begin with the end in mind. They had no idea my wellness plan was actually coming at the end of their corrective care plan. In fact, you might recognize this. You might feel this. Sometimes you have patients who come through this first part. This is a 24-visit corrective care plan, the phase 1 symptom relief, the phase 2 correction, and they never know in this area. They never knew that you were going to recommend wellness at the end of this corrective care phase. And I would have patients that would be halfway through this going, man, I'm sure going to miss you at the end of my care plan. I'm sure going to miss you, I'm sure, or they'd be coming through this and they were like, well, what happens after I'm done with this plan, doc? Because I never told them in the beginning that there was an option for maintaining the correction that you got in my office. And so I created this initial care plan, and it just blew up our wellness programs in our office, because now I tell patients, look, we start with an initial 24 visit, and I have a 36 visit corrective care plan. So sometimes we'll start with a 36 visit care plan. I just have this initial care plan right here for you to see. This is the 24 visit one. And so that people might start, I tell them, you might start with this 24 visits, 3 times a week for 4 weeks, 2 times a week for 6 weeks. Then we're going to do that re-exam. We're going to show you all the correction that you got in this initial care phase. And then I'm going to recommend that we move into wellness after that. It's totally up to you. This is an optional This is an optional recommendation for you. You don't have to. Not everybody starts or continues with wellness care after their corrective care, but I want you to know that I'm going to recommend wellness care, and they know that up front from day one. Okay, now you'll notice this green line under here, the very, very bottom, all the way from day one, all the way to the last day. You can see here, home care, home spinal care, spinal hygiene recommendations on a daily basis. So they know beyond a shadow of a doubt, anything that happens in my office, you need to be doing something on a daily basis to take care of your spine, starting today and ending with the last day of your life. I mean, you need to do this forever. These are the exercises that I'm going to explain, I'm going to show you today on this webinar that will explode retention in your office. This single initial care plan right here, when you get this, if you stay in here, stay on until the end of this webinar, I'll show you where you can get this. I will give you this initial care plan, and it'll be you'll be able to edit this document. It is a Word doc, and I think you'll really appreciate that. I think it'll be really valuable for you. Now, what happens, let's say this patient says, okay, I'll start care. They do the 1560, they pay up front, and let's say they go all the way through this initial care plan, which is approximately 2.5, 3 months. They get right here. We do a re-exam and re-x-ray. We go over their correction. I recommend this. This is a once a week visit for $140 a month, and it's my wellness program. Now, look, you're the doctor, I'm the doctor. If somebody needs more, if they need less, if they don't fit perfectly into this, then you edit the document to make sure it fits that person. I'm not saying you give a cookie cutter plan to everyone. That's why this document is editable. That's such a weird word. I don't even know if it's a word, but it's editable. And so you use that. You be the doctor in every case for every person. I'm not saying that you do cookie cutter, but I am saying that you can implement systems that help you achieve your goals, and more importantly, help your patients achieve their goals. So let me show you on the next, actually, hold on. Let me make sure that everybody is on and watching. If you're watching in, just log into the chat roll below that video, and I will be looking for you. Any comments or questions that you have, just pop them in there. Now, would you like to see my actual wellness care plan? All right, here it is. Let's say they made it through the corrective care phase. They get to wellness care because you actually educated them and you showed them and you told them, guess what? I'm going to recommend wellness care at the end of a corrective care plan. Now, when they get to the end of that corrective care plan, at the end of 24 visits, I go over their x-rays or their re-exam that we did, and I give them this sheet right here. This builds, guys, if you get anything from this webinar, this single strategy right here will make your practice so valuable. It'll just be unbelievable. So this person is given a wellness plan, or what I call the VIP lifetime wellness plan. It says that right on the piece of paper that I hand the person. And again, you're the doctor. You can change this to match the person's needs, but a lot of mine will be one adjustment a week, and then if necessary, I'll allow them to keep doing the therapeutic rehabs. I want to get them out of that rehab and corrective phase and into just wellness, where we're just coming in for checkups and adjustment once a week. It's $140 a month, and it goes on auto debit. They get their credit card in here. Now, look. I'm always fair with my patients. If they don't use a visit, or if they need more visits, we'll do exactly what we need to do legally. And I'm not a lawyer, so whatever's legal in your state, do it, right? But make it where it's efficient and it works, and that patient understands that I get the opportunity to allow you to take care of my spine, and I get the opportunity to have wellness as well as far as chiropractic goes. And so when I have 100, 200 patients who have their credit card on file, it gets auto debited every month. They're getting their adjustment every week. Then we're still seeing corrective care patients. We're still seeing new patients, but it's almost like you have two different practices. You have one practice where it's new patients coming in that are starting their care plan. You have another one that are all wellness patients that are on auto debit, coming every week or every other week or once a month, whatever it is you want to do for them or in your office. And that part of your practice grows. Now, the reason I said it makes your practice so valuable is, imagine if you wanted to go and sell your practice. Now, I don't ever plan on selling my practice. I plan on being 90, 100 years old, still a adjusting, and then my kids working in that practice. But if something happened, if my plans changed and I said, you know what, I do want to sell my practice, how much more valuable would that practice be if some doctor came in and said, oh, you have $14,000 a month coming in on auto debit? I mean, my goodness, that person coming in would say, I'll buy that practice. Thank you very much. And so this concept of actually telling your patients we're moving into wellness care after our corrective care, having it on the initial care plan, using that initial care plan I gave you, presenting your lifetime wellness at their re-exam, that in itself is going to blow up your patient retention if you're not doing that already. But the third thing, and the most important thing that you could possibly do in your office, is educate your patients about the importance of maintaining good spinal health for a lifetime. Now, I want you to compare this, and I'm going to use a lot of dental analogies, but I want you to think about this. You, I imagine, probably brush your teeth. Why? Is it because you love your dentist? No, it's because you actually want to have healthy teeth. And what happens if you don't brush your teeth? Well, they'll probably degenerate. They'll probably decay. In fact, we know that to be true, which is why the world brushes their teeth. What do we do to take care of our spine on a daily basis? I don't mean going to the chiropractor once a week. I mean, what do we do on a daily basis to take care of our spine, just like we take care of our teeth? Let's start from the beginning, okay? Let's answer this question. I wrote out a definition here because there's just not a definition out there for spinal hygiene. Look up a definition for dental hygiene, you'll definitely see it. But if you try to find a definition for spinal hygiene, good luck. Spinal hygiene is the set of practices associated with the preservation of the spine, maintaining the health of the spine. And ladies and gentlemen, this definitely includes regular chiropractic adjustments to help you take care of your spine, but it's not all just chiropractic. And I think once we start teaching that, you feel like it's going to be counterproductive or counterintuitive. It kind of is counterintuitive because you think, well, if I teach someone to take care of their spine at home, they're not going to come see me as much. That's not true. That is not true at all. In fact, what it will do, it will build their awareness that they need to take care of their spine, so they'll come back and see you more often. Dentists have already done this. They've proved this concept in the dental profession, and it starts back in the early 1900s. A Dr. Alfred, that should say Phones, not Alfred Jones, apologize. Dr. Alfred Phones, F-O-N-E-S, he is the father of spinal hygiene. I'm sorry. He is the father of dental hygiene. Okay, in 1906, his office, they were pulling so many teeth that he said, you know what, I'm tired of this. It's like so many pain patients coming in your door, back pain, and they come in when the discs are already completely gone and degenerated and fused together, and you're like, oh my God, this person should have came in 30 years ago. Well, that's how Dr. Alfred Phones felt back in 1906, is he felt like, he was like, I'm so tired of pulling teeth, man. These people don't take care of their teeth. So he became convinced that tooth decay or degeneration, we call it decay in the teeth, but in the spine we call it degeneration. Degeneration could be prevented with proper oral hygiene. Now, this concept, it was relatively new in dentistry because only about 16 years prior to Dr. Phones, there was another researcher who discovered that bacteria release its acid from the breakdown of sugar. And get this, like right at the 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s was the influx of sugar, processed sugar into our diet. So before that, we really ate pretty clean. We ate a lot of fruits and vegetables. Probably most of them were organic. And so in the early 1900s, now sugar, processed sugars, processed foods, now we're starting to get all this, our teeth are just getting terrible, right? And we discovered that because you eating like that, bacteria built up in the teeth and it began to break down the teeth. So here's the key. Look, we know that proper hygiene or upkeep prevents degeneration. We see this to be true in every area of the body. We see it to be true in the teeth, okay? Proper upkeep of your teeth prevents degeneration of your teeth. Why? Because we know what causes it. See, we know what causes dental decay or tooth decay. So then through deduction, I heard Patrick Gentempo speak this weekend at Life Vision seminars, and he was talking about how this is a valid way to implement healthcare is through deduction. And that's exactly what dentists did with the teeth. I mean, there's not a lot of research out there on brushing your teeth. And if there is, why would we spend $2 million on a research project about brushing your teeth? Because I brush my teeth every day. I've never read a research paper that recommended me brush my teeth. I just do it because it's common sense, because through deduction, if we can prevent what causes it, then we can actually reduce our risk for it, okay? Now we look at this in the body. You don't have to do anything and your body will degenerate. It's called entropy. Look it up. It's called entropy. It means that your body will degenerate. It means that the world would degenerate. Your car will degenerate. Your house will degenerate. If you don't keep it up, if you don't maintain it, it will degenerate. And look, on our pictures here, if you can see our slideshow, you'll see Dr. Alan Weinstein, fit man. He's a good friend of mine. He's all buff and fit. He's worked hard. You don't think that took energy? That took energy, it took dedication, it took focus. Now, the person on the right, I don't know who that is, but I just, to prove a point that you don't have to take care of your body, you don't have to do anything, and it will degenerate. Same thing goes with the spine, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with the same universal law. Look at this person on the left. Proper upkeep of the spine, great curve, good disc spaces. Now look at the person on the right. Now look, don't get all specific on me and crazy and say like, well, yeah, the person on the right's older. Absolutely. The person on the right might have had car accidents, might have fell off a roof and landed on his head. It looks like he did. But I'm just saying that person on the left actually discovered chiropractic. They discovered the importance of good spinal alignment and good spinal health and good spinal movement and range of motion and all those great things. And guess what? We know what causes spinal degeneration today. We know that Wolff's Law says that abnormal biomechanics and wear and pressures in certain areas causes the laydown of calcifications, which causes bone spurs. So we know how to prevent bone spurs if we keep it in a good alignment, keep good biomechanics. Look, we know imbibition. We know that the discs need imbibition to stay healthy. They have to have motion and movement, which I'll get into in just a second. And if they don't get imbibition, if they don't get motion and movement, what happens? They dehydrate, they degenerate. This is common sense. So why aren't we teaching this to our patients? And when we do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a decade now in 2 different chiropractic offices in Houston, Texas. And you know what? We're changing people's lives. And even if they don't stay in my office forever, let's say they moved to Canada, or they moved to Australia and they never see me again. Guess what they learned? They learn that they can take care of their spine, that there's something they have to do on a daily basis. The chiropractic is good. The chiropractic helps them to take care of their spine. And that's how we create lifetime patients. That's how we create this awareness of lifetime spinal care, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you're watching from Facebook, again, realize I am on live, on YouTube Live and on our website. So that's why I'm not looking at you the whole time, probably wondering who I'm talking to. All right, so these concepts, I want you to know, are self-evident. What does that mean? Well, look, scientific studies are great. I'm a proponent for research. That's super if you're doing research. But these concepts are already established. We don't need studies. You don't need a study on brushing your teeth to say, okay, I'll do it, right? It's what we need. Instead of wasting millions and millions and millions of dollars on studies, what we need is public awareness. We've got to educate, that this is common sense. Look, here's our challenge. Whether you're a chiropractor, healthcare professional, anywhere, I hope you're a chiropractor because I really want chiropractors to own this. Oral hygiene already has a huge public awareness. Watch this statistic. 90%, and I think it's more than that, I think it's actually 96% of people say they brush their teeth regularly. Now, that awareness, because 90% of people brush their teeth, it doesn't mean that everybody goes to a dentist, but 90% of people brush their teeth regularly. All right, that awareness leads to 50% of people visiting a dentist regularly. Let's compare those numbers to chiropractic right now. Look, spinal health in general, whether you call it chiropractic or not, spinal health in general has a very, very, very small public awareness. In fact, nobody knows they need to actually take care of their spine. I think it's fair to say that less than 1% of people actually do anything on a daily basis, any type of spinal hygiene exercise or, stretch or range of motion. Maybe if they go to the gym, that's great, and run on the treadmill, but none of them, like less than 1% of people actually do something specifically for the spine. And that's compared to 94, 96, whatever it is, percent of people who brush their teeth. But that low number, that 1% of people who take care of their spine, that is that leads to less than 5% of people seeing a chiropractor regularly, because nobody knows they need to take care of their spine. Nobody goes to a chiropractor until they have extreme back pain, because that's what they think chiropractic is for, not helping me take care of the health of my spine. It's just for back pain. So there was a Gallup study that was put out recently, maybe a few years back, that showed 4.2% of the population actually visit a chiropractor regularly. Why? Because nobody has an awareness that they need to take care of their spine. They don't even know why they're going to the chiropractor unless they have a back pain and they saw an ad about it. All right, so we wonder why statistics show 80% of people in today's society, 80% of people by the age of 60 have spinal degeneration. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate the comment there. And so, look, if 80% of people have spinal degeneration by the age of 60, what about before that? Because a lot of times in your practices, I know you've heard this, the people will look at you and they'll say, well, it's just my age, that arthritis just comes with age. And we've known that that's not the case, but how are you going to tell them, right? Because they've been told, just pounded by society, that arthritis is caused by old age. Well, let me give you a couple of bits of ammunition here. There were two different studies put out. One study looked at 20-year-olds. They found that 37% of 20-year-olds in today's culture, in today's society, have spinal degeneration. 37% of 20-year-olds have spinal degeneration. Is 20 old? No. But because of our sedentary lifestyles, we're sitting for long periods of time, we're looking at phones, our necks are bent down, we are, let's see, what else? Computers. So we're degenerating at younger and younger ages now. In fact, a new study from researchers in Switzerland actually showed 10-year-olds. They did an MRI. They took a group of 10-year-olds and they were all asymptomatic, but they looked at their spine. They showed 9% of 10-year-olds in today's society have spinal degeneration. So it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Remember what we just talked about? How in the early 1900s that tooth decay was rampant, right? That tooth decay was everybody. I bet you these numbers are very similar. If you go back to the early 1900s, I bet 80% of people had false teeth. I know this is true. Probably more than 80% of people had dentures by the age of 60. And then before that, you're looking at 20-year-olds. That's why Dr. Alfred Phones, the father of dental hygiene, that's the reason why he started dental hygiene, was because all he did was pull people's teeth when they got to be about 20 years old. Look, we've got the same exact numbers of degeneration in the spine that dentists had back in the early 1900s, and we're doing nothing about it. And why don't you think medicine is doing anything about it? Huh? You know why medicine's not doing anything about it? Because they are making billions of dollars on it. They're making billions of dollars from a silent epidemic called spinal degeneration. You know why I call it silent? Because you can't see it. And most of the time you can't feel it until it's absolutely too late. So we're teaching heart disease and cancer. You don't feel heart disease and cancer. 50, 60, 70% of the population will get heart disease and cancer. Look at 90% of people who get degeneration of the spine, and you wonder why, because medical system's not teaching it. In fact, now they're getting to do back surgeries on younger and younger people. And you know what the average back surgery costs? $100,000. So they're getting $100,000 a pop for back surgeries when 74% of back surgeries actually fail. So now they're getting to do more and more back surgeries earlier and earlier ages, making bank. Not to mention back surgeries. Even before that, they're giving pain pills. You know what the pain pill, you know what the what's that called? The market for pain pills are right now in the United States? It's an $86 billion market. Okay, so now they're getting back pain medications at earlier and earlier ages. It's a silent epidemic, so nobody's complaining or crying. So why would medicine step in and stop this? They wouldn't. But now watch this. Imagine if spinal degeneration was a rash on the outside of the body. If 80% of the population had this rash on the outside of the body, then public awareness would just blow up, and there would be a public health outcry, and we would be moved to stop and prevent it. But because it's spinal degeneration and it's silently killing you, nobody's doing anything about it. So that's what I'm trying to passionately get across to you as practitioners, as chiropractors, is this is so important. Not only will it improve the retention in your office, guys, but it will help change the lives of your patients. That's the most important thing. All right, so let's look and let's take a cue from dentistry and ask, how did dentists do it? When in the 1900s, early 1900s, they didn't even have the internet. They couldn't broadcast live to Facebook. They couldn't do a webinar. So how did they get this information of dental hygiene? How did they get that across to people? Well, number one is they began to get out in their community and they began to share this message of dental hygiene with their community. They didn't necessarily share the message of cavities with their community. They shared the message of dental hygiene, of lifetime dental care. And then what else they did? Well, I think one huge thing they did is they got into our schools and they got into our businesses. And that's why in our program, Spinal Hygiene Movement, which actually ends tomorrow night, the last chance for you to get in is tomorrow night at midnight. So I want to make sure that you get in. You can go to spinalhygienedoctor.com to find out more about it. Or you can look, if you're watching from our webinar, scroll down below this video, click the big orange button and check that out. But look, I show you how to get into schools. We have a curriculum, a spinal hygiene curriculum for kids that starts teaching them how to take care of their spine so we can prevent degeneration. We have lunch and learn programs that help drive new patients into your office because you're able to get in, provide a lunch and learn for that business, and share this message with your community. It's hugely valuable. Now, what else did dentists do? Because they got out into our community, which I highly recommend you do. Well, what else did dentists do? They teach it in their office. Now, this is a concept I want you to try to wrap your head around. What dentist do you know that makes their money off selling toothbrushes? Nobody. I've never been to a dentist that charged me for a toothbrush. In fact, they always give me a packet that has toothbrushes and it has floss in there, and they give it to me when I leave. Why do you think they do that? It doesn't make them 1 cent directly by giving you a toothbrush. But you know what it does? Exactly what we're talking about here. It builds awareness. They teach you to brush your teeth. They teach you to floss. They want to make sure that you leave with a brand new toothbrush and with a brand new thing of floss. Why? Because it builds awareness and it keeps you coming back, and it makes them the expert in lifetime dental wellness. And that's what I want you to be, is the expert in lifetime spinal wellness, because you're teaching spinal hygiene. And that's why you see on the screen there my book, At Home Spinal Care. If you go to spinalhygienedoctor.com and enter your name and email, you'll actually be taken to a video. And right below that video, you can download that book for free. So, so guys, look, I want to encourage you to join us, join the movement. Join the spinal hygiene members, become a spinal hygiene doctor, and let me walk you through exactly what you get when you hit the big orange button below this video. Check it out, you'll see it on that page, but I'm going to walk you through each step. Number one, most important, are live online training classes with me. We're going to start next Wednesday at 12:30 Central, but they're going to be recorded. They're posted in the archive area, in the members area. 6 weeks in a row. I'm going to be with you or your staff, or both, you and your staff. We're going to be live, and I'm going to train you on every single thing we do to get out in the community, how we set up events, how we set up lunch and learns. I do at least one lunch and learn a week at businesses in my office. You can see, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see me posting those pictures of me in front of businesses every week, and I couldn't stage those pictures. I actually do this. I do probably over 50 lunch and learns a year. Now, I'll show you how we get in to do those lunch and learns. I'll show you how we do advanced spinal hygiene workshops in your office, and I'll give you my PowerPoint, and we'll walk through, and I'll train you on everything that it takes to start doing advanced spinal hygiene workshops in your office. I'll show you how we use the spinal hygiene products that help our patients do this on a daily basis, like spinal molding rolls, exercise discs, TheraBands, whatever it is that gives that person something to do every day that continuously builds awareness about their health and about the spine. Okay, so then what else? Well, we also have in-school curriculum. You'll get, as becoming a spinal hygiene doctor, you'll get a curriculum that actually shows you how to get into schools so that you can set up these talks with kids. Well, you can do it with teachers as well, but with kids, we want to go right to them, direct to them. We want to start teaching these concepts of spinal hygiene. The curriculum, especially for junior high and high school kids, it's intense, man. It's anatomy, it's physiology, it's science. It helps them learn more about the spine, makes them aware. And then even earlier than that, we start to get into the elementary schools, and we start to teach kids, and those are fun. We have a cartoon character called Atlas that just came out, and we're working on really fun and cool songs and curriculums that we can begin to teach these kids the importance of spinal care on a daily basis, and working on flyers and things like that. So this is a progressive movement. When you join the spinal hygiene doctor, you're not joining some outdated membership area. You're joining something that is moving right now, that we're adding and changing. And we are a group of chiropractors who said, you know what, we're passionate about spinal hygiene. We want to teach the younger generations. We want to teach the older generation. We want to teach everybody how to take care of their spine. And we put our money where our mouth is, and we're joining, and we're making a movement together. And so I highly encourage you, click that orange button below to get started. Now, this is a cool bonus that we've added in the spinal hygiene members area, and it's called the posture cure. So a lot of people were like, well, that's spinal hygiene. The exercises that we do are spinal hygiene. Spinal hygiene is not necessarily corrective care. So if you know me very well, you know I work closely with Dr. Chris Zano. And so we wanted to try to implement some corrective care that's built at a higher volume that matches and goes really well with our spinal hygiene exercises. So we started the Posture Cure program, and nobody has ever got this program unless you are a spinal hygiene doctor. We do not even sell this program yet, not even to chiro thought leaders. So, but Dr. Zano does it. I do it in my office, and it's an amazing posture cure program. It makes it so easy for you to get great corrections at higher volumes. All right, so then the Spinal Hygiene Doctor Waiting Room DVD. I'll show you what that is. It is so cool. It's an animated DVD that walks you through everything in my book. We go over myths that, I'm too old to do anything about my spine. We go over myths about genetics, like, oh, my dad has a bad back, I'm going to have bad back. And then after we go through all those and debunk all those myths that we hear every single day, that arthritis is just caused by old age, we debunk that myth on this Waiting Room DVD. And then at the end, it goes over the at-home exercises that we do as part of being a spinal hygiene doctor. You'll see those exercises. So basically, this is educating your patients for you. Look, I try to make it as efficient and easy on the doctor as possible. I know you don't have time out of your day to educate everybody, sit down with every patient, walk them through every exercise, every time they come in. You just don't have time for that. So you have a CA that learns this process and teaches them that. And then on top of that, you have a Waiting Room DVD that's constantly playing that teaches them that. And then on top of that, you have videos. On top of that, you have the book, and so I want to make it extremely easy for you to implement this education and these strategies in your office. Now, below that, you'll see the commitment bonus for people who when you click on that orange link, you'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see 3 different options. I'll walk you through these options. If you just joined for $297 a month and there is no contract, you can stop anytime. And I made this door very easy for you to get in and very easy for you to get out, because I feel like once you get in and you see all this valuable info, by the way, I don't drip feed anything. All the information is there for you to see on day one. Okay, so you just pay the $297. It starts the per month process. But if you get in there and you say, look, you know what, I learned it all, I don't want to stick around for the live classes, then you have the option of just shutting that off. You don't have to pay per month. And I did that because I know there are some offices out there, some chiropractors who are just getting started. You're just out of school, you're just opening the doors. I want you to be able to get this information. I want you to be able to get into businesses and do lunch and learns and get new patients, because I want you to thrive. But if you can't afford it, you can afford that. I promise you. And you can learn as much as you can in 30 days. If you need to shut it down after that, I encourage you not. I encourage you to stick with it. Stick with us. We're going to do live events. We're going to do more education, and it's going to be a movement that will explode your practice along with the profession of chiropractic. And that's why I encourage you to do, if you can, the quarterly membership or the yearly membership. And I gave you a reward. Not only are you going to save a tremendous amount of money by doing the quarterly or the yearly membership, but I will also include the commitment bonus, because you've taken it and said, you know what, I'll join and I'll make a commitment to share this in my practice, to share this in my community. So for that, I will throw in my spinal screening program, which is your $497 value. We're upgrading that at the moment. I know it's been taking me a while, but I just shot all the videos to completely upgrade a brand new videos. And I've had the spinal screening program for about 8 years now, 7 or 8 years now, and it's changed a little bit over the time. I've updated it twice since then already. There's a brand new update going in. I still do spinal screenings in my community on a regular basis, but we just do the really big spinal screenings now. So you get that program, $500 value. You'll get Dr. Zano's new patient retention system. That DVD walks patients through lifetime spinal care, lifetime wellness, the reason why they don't need to wait until they get a symptoms to start taking care of their body, the power of the nervous system. It's principled. It's principled chiropractic philosophy right there in the new patient retention system. You get that DVD. And then the waiting room DVD from Bulletproof. Oh my goodness. This might be the best information we've ever shot. So look at all this waiting room. If you don't have enough waiting room information, if you're like me, you're always looking for more great info to play in the waiting room, you're going to get the spinal hygiene waiting room DVD. You're going to get the new patient retention system DVD. You're going to get the Bulletproof waiting room DVD, all for starting into the spinal hygiene movement, where you're going to get tons of more information on how you can blow up your practice and keep great retention on your patients. So that waiting room DVD there from Bulletproof, that's Dr. Dan Sullivan. He talks about the research behind chiropractic, behind the adjustment, and why subluxation is so devastating. So your patients are actually learning why the adjustment is so great for them. And on that DVD as well, which this is not offered anywhere else across the board, is Dr. Zano's very own testimony. So if you don't know, Dr. Zano, he was a Mr. America bodybuilder, and then he was diagnosed with incurable bowel disease called ulcerative colitis. And he came this close from having his colon taken out. And thank God somebody told him about chiropractic. He went to the chiropractor, changed his life, not overnight. He explains how it took 7, 8, 9 months. So it builds this value for long-term care in your office, just your patient sitting there watching his testimony. And then he's like, well, that's what I want to be as a chiropractor. It changed his life. He went to chiropractic school, and now he runs one of the largest chiropractic offices in the world. And that entire story is on that waiting room DVD, shot in high definition film. And that in itself is worth the price of this entire program. Plus, you're going to love that. So guys, that's it. It's all I got for you. I appreciate you being on this webinar. I don't want you to wait any longer. Please scroll down below the video, click on that big orange button, or I'll make sure that I post the website on Facebook as well. And then get started right now. Choose a monthly payment that works best for you. I encourage you to pick the quarterly or the yearly. Make a commitment. You know what? Say, I'm not going to be wishy-washy anymore. I'm going to make a commitment to change my practice. I'm going to make a commitment to change the lives of the individuals in my community. And make that commitment and jump in at quarterly or yearly and save. If you do the yearly plan, you're saving like almost $2,000 for the year. So do yourself a favor, and you can take that off your taxes as well. So jump in, do the yearly membership there, and join us. Become a spinal hygiene doctor. Remember, this is closing down, so just do it now. It closes down tomorrow at midnight. Will be the absolutely last chance you have to join us. Why? Because we're starting our live classes next week. So we got to prep. We got to get ready for our live one-on-one, not one-on-one. It's actually a group class that we'll do every Wednesday that will be recorded in the archive section of our membership site. But you don't even have to wait till next Wednesday for a live class, because as soon as you join today, you're going to get to register. You're going to get in and start watching these videos and get all the great information that's on the site. So guys, I hope you found some extreme value. If you've been with me since the beginning, I told you I wanted to give you something, and that is my initial care plan, and it's an editable version, a Word doc version, so that you can use that care plan. You can type your own information and your own prices and plans in, and all you have to do to get that is email me at drtabor@live.com, drtabor@live.com, and I'll email it. I'll attach it and email it right back to you. I'm not going to put it on some big landing page where I try to grab your email and try to get you to another sales page. Where just send me an old-fashioned email. Say, I was on the webinar, and give me your thoughts about what you thought about the information on the webinar. I'd love to hear your feedback, and just let me know and ask me if I'll send you that the initial care plan document, and I will just hit the reply, tell you thank you, and attach that and send it right to you. Again, the email to get that initial care plan Word doc is drtabor@live.com, drtabor@live.com. Thank you all so much for being on. I really, really appreciate it. Click the big orange link below or go to spinalhygienedoctor.com, and I'll put the link below that in the live feed as well. And I guess that is all I have for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my feed here on my live feed and check and see if we have any questions. Let's see. All right. Oh, Cynthia. Hey, what's up, Cynthia? Thanks for being on. She says, brilliant. Thanks, Tabor, for making it easy and affordable to change lives and change our practice. Thanks for that comment. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm glad to know that this audio and video was working because didn't get a whole lot of questions there. But again, email is drtabor@live.com. Send me an email and I'll reply with the attachment of the Word doc that you can edit for our initial care plan sequence. For those of you who are just now getting on, or if you're watching in from Facebook, you can check it out. Get on my email list. Go to spinalhygienedoctor.com because I'm going to send this replay out to that email list here in a couple hours. So if you go to spinalhygienedoctor.com and you enter your name and email, you'll be on that list and you'll get this replay. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time today, and I hope everybody has a beautiful week. Keep saving lives. Keep sharing the message of lifetime spinal wellness with your patients. Have a great one.